ready to move beyond the everyday and into something a little deeper. You shared a fascinating lecture with us.
Oh, yeah?
From the group Luz al Movimiento de Unidad,
Okay.
or LMDU, and it's about the power of dance.
Cool.
But we're not talking about your average salsa night here.
No, this lecture goes way beyond that. I mean, we're talking about some really interesting stuff here, like dance as a spiritual practice.
It's deep.
Yeah, a way to tap into like cosmic energy even,
Yeah.
and a path for personal growth.
What really struck me, like right off the bat, was how Madre Maria, the speaker, she challenges us to stop overthinking it.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, dance is about intuition and feeling, not overthinking.
Yeah, just let go.
Have you ever felt that?
Totally.
That sense of flow in movement where you just kind of let go and you lose yourself in the moment?
100%.
It's that feeling she's talking about.
It's that space where your mind, it just gets out of its own way. You stop thinking so much, you let your body just be an expression of something deeper, you know?
Yeah.
It's like meditation.
Yes, it's like meditation through movement.
Exactly.
And she doesn't stop there. Madre Maria describes dance as a doorway, even a fractal.
Oh, wow.
Hinting at a connection between our own, like, individual movements and the energy of the universe.
Whoa. That's big. So it's like our little dances, even the silly ones, they're like tiny reflections of this massive cosmic dance.
It is a powerful image, right?
It is.
And she connects this to ancient traditions.
Okay.
Brings up Shiva,
Okay.
the Hindu deity.
Yeah.
Often depicted, in this cosmic dance,
Right.
representing both creation and destruction.
Of course, yeah. And it's not just Hinduism. She talks about how other cultures, like the Mayans and the Egyptians, they had sacred dances too,
That's right.
often dedicated to the sun.
Interesting.
It makes you think, right?
It does.
Like the sun, it's the source of light, this energy. It's almost like a symbol for this universal dance that connects us.
It's like a universal language we've been speaking for centuries.
Exactly.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
Madre Maria suggests that even the Celtic cross, with its spiral patterns converging at a central point,
Yeah.
can be seen as a representation of movement and inward focus.
I never thought about it like that, but it makes sense. The spiral, it's in so many cultures, representing growth, expansion, this journey inwards. And dance, it often involves circular or spiraling motions, right? It can lead us to a place of stillness.
Focus.
Yeah, exactly. So it all kind of ties together.
And then, just when I thought I had a handle on things,
Well, what is it?
she drops another one on us.
Tell me.
She's like, even Jesus learned and embraced dance.
Whoa, really? You don't hear that every day.
No. Especially not in a religious context. It's pretty radical.
It is.
Yeah.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's necessarily about whether that literally happened. It's more about opening our minds up to other narratives.
Possibilities.
Yeah. About history and spirituality that might be out there that we haven't heard before.
Exactly. It's about opening ourselves up to new possibilities. And that's what this deep dive is all about, really. This isn't about, like, teaching you specific dance steps or anything.
No. It's way bigger than that.
It's about something much bigger. It's the idea that dance, at its core, is like a pathway to a more profound understanding of ourselves and the universe.
To tap into that energy, that universal energy that flows within us and around us.
Yes.
And it's liberating.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Okay, but before we go any further down this rabbit hole,
Okay.
I want to pause here and make sure we're giving enough attention to this idea of dance as a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
It's one thing to dance for fun,
Right.
or fitness. But Madre Maria seems to be talking about something much deeper here.
She is. And you know what? She makes it clear that not all dance is created equal in this sense. Even professional dancers.
Really?
Yeah. They might have the technical skills, but they can still miss this deeper connection.
So it's not just about nailing that perfect pirouette.
Not necessarily. It's about intention. It's about awareness.
Okay.
It's about letting go of the ego, and allowing a higher purpose to move through you.
So if you're so focused on the technical aspects,
Right.
you might miss the spiritual essence of the dance.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we tap into that?
Right.
What are the keys? How do we unlock this, like, spiritual dimension in dance?
She does offer some clues. She talks about rhythm,
Okay.
melody,
Okay.
harmony. But it's not just any rhythm. It's about tapping into this cosmic rhythm, a frequency that resonates with something bigger, beyond us, beyond the physical world.
Oh, I love that imagery. Tuning into the music of the spheres. But how do we actually do that?
It's like, imagine feeling connected to nature, The wind in the trees, the waves crashing. Now imagine your body starts moving in a way that expresses that. You're not thinking about it. You're not choreographing. You just become a conduit for that energy. That's that cosmic rhythm.
You become part of the dance of the universe.
Yes.
But there's something else she mentions that I thought was really important.
What's that?
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
What does responsibility have to do with dancing?
She's saying that when you open yourself up on that level, with that kind of energy and awareness through dance, you have a responsibility to be mindful, you know?
Of what?
Of what you're inviting in. It's powerful stuff. You need a certain level of consciousness, I think. Discernment, even.
So it's not just dancing for yourself anymore.
No. It's bigger.
You're dancing with something greater.
Yes. And that right there, that connection, that awareness, that's where the real power is.
That's where the magic happens.
It's where healing happens.
Physically, physically, emotionally, all of it.
So it's not about learning the steps. It's about connecting with something much deeper.
Way deeper.
Beyond physical.
Beyond it, that's it. It's about tapping into that universal energy and letting it move through you. And by doing that, you heal, you grow, you change. This is blowing my mind. And we've only just scratched the surface. Speaking of scratching the surface, Madre Maria also talks about how this all connects to our physical selves.
Yeah.
In ways that go beyond endorphins and just feeling good.
Okay.
But before we dive into that, let's take a pause and come back to it in part 2 of this deep dive. We're back, and I am still buzzing from that last part about dance as a spiritual practice. It's like we opened the door to a whole new way of thinking about movement.
Absolutely. And remember, we're exploring this idea of dance as a doorway, a metaphor Madre Maria uses a lot in the lecture. And in this part, we're going to walk through another door, so to speak, into the realm of how dance impacts us, like, physically.
Okay, so Madre Maria hinted that it's about more than just endorphins and feeling good.
Way more.
She starts talking about how specific movements can impact our energy channels.
Yeah.
Even down to the cellular level. She even uses the term alchemical to describe it.
Yeah, that might sound a little out there at first, but think about it like this. Alchemy, at its core, is about transformation. It's about taking something ordinary, and through a specific process, you reveal its hidden potential.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. So how does that relate to dance?
What Madre Maria seems to be suggesting is that through conscious, intentional dance, we can create shifts in our physical bodies that are almost, well, transformative.
Alchemical.
Alchemical, exactly.
All right, I'm intrigued, but I need a bit more to grab onto. What kind of physical shifts are we talking about? Can you give me some concrete examples from the lecture?
She mentions things like activating our DNA,
Whoa.
aligning our energy fields, even influencing our endocrine system.
Wow.
She talks about how different movements correspond to different organs and energy centers within the body. For example, she talks about how certain spinning movements can help balance our energy, similar to the concept of chakras in yoga.
So it's like our bodies are instruments, and through dance, we learn to play them with more awareness.
Yes.
And just like learning any instrument, it takes time.
Practice.
Practice to master this kind of dance. It's not about just flailing around.
No, it's about understanding those subtle energies within us and around us and learning to move in harmony with them.
Okay, that makes sense. But this all sounds incredibly complex. I mean, where on earth do you even begin to learn something like this? Did Madre Maria offer any suggestions?
She did. Remember when you mentioned those spontaneous dances you used to do? The ones that felt so natural and joyful?
Yes. And how I kind of miss moving like that. I was kind of hoping she'd circle back to those. They felt important somehow.
Well, Madre Maria suggests that those weren't just random movements. She sees them as like a starting point, a glimpse into a deeper understanding of dance as a form of innate wisdom.
Wow.
And she recommends looking into practices like Qigong and Tai Chi as ways to reconnect with and refine that intuitive sense of movement.
Interesting. I've always been curious about those practices, but never actually tried them. What is it about them that she thinks could help unlock this deeper level of dance?
Both Qigong and Tai Chi emphasize slow, flowing movements that cultivate and direct vital energy, what the Chinese call qi. It's about cultivating awareness of the subtle energy that flows through our bodies.
Okay.
And connecting with it through movement. In a way, it echoes Madre Maria's point about tapping into a cosmic rhythm.
It's like a moving meditation, but with a focus on harnessing and directing your internal energy.
Yes.
And she seems to be saying that this internal energy is connected to that larger universal energy we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. And she sees those spontaneous dances you described as a bridge to that understanding. It's about taking that natural sense of flow and refining it, understanding the mechanics behind the magic, so to speak.
This is fascinating. It's like we carry within us the potential to heal and transform ourselves through dance, but somewhere along the way we've forgotten how to access it.
It's like any forgotten language, you know? It takes time, it takes practice. But Madre Maria seems confident that it's possible, and the rewards, increased vitality, deeper self-awareness, spiritual connection, they're significant.
It's a journey worth taking. Speaking of journeys, this conversation is taking me back to the beginning of the lecture. Remember when Madre Maria said dance is a doorway?
Yeah.
We keep coming back to that, and I
Right.
think it's for a good reason.
It's the central metaphor, isn't it? And so far, we've stepped through the door of dance as a spiritual practice and the door of dance as a way to connect with our physical selves.
Yeah, it's like with each step, each new understanding, we're opening ourselves up to new possibilities, both within and beyond our physical limitations. It's almost like we're dancing our way to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
She touches on that, how dance can help us reconnect with the divine,
Right.
that universal energy that flows through all things. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. But she also mentioned something about dance as a way to connect with other beings, not just the divine. She didn't get into specifics in this particular lecture, but I'm curious about that. Did she elaborate on that at all in any of her other work that you've encountered?
She does, and it's one of the more unexpected and mind-blowing parts of her teachings.
Yeah.
She talks about how dance can be a form of communication, not just with other people,
Yeah.
but with other beings as well.
Okay, now we're venturing into uncharted territory. What kind of beings are we talking about here? Give me some details.
Hold on to your hat, because this might sound a little woo-woo.
Okay.
She mentions things like connecting with nature spirits, ancestors, even beings from other realms. She talks about how dance allows us to tap into a universal language that transcends words and even physical form.
This is blowing my mind. Need a minute to process this.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, she's saying that through dance, we can not only connect with like a higher power,
Yeah.
but also with the spirits of nature, our ancestors, maybe even beings from other dimensions.
That's the gist of it, yes.
Mhm.
Now, I know this might sound like something out of a science fiction movie,
It kind of does.
but she's not talking about little green men here. She seems to be suggesting that dance creates a sort of energetic resonance that allows us to communicate with beings who exist on different frequencies than we do.
It's like tuning into a radio station we didn't even know existed.
Right.
I'm definitely going to need to revisit this part a few times to fully wrap my head around it.
It's a lot.
But it's incredibly exciting.
You and me both. But I think that's part of the beauty of LEMDU's teachings.
Yeah,
They invite us to expand our awareness
totally.
and consider possibilities that we might not have even imagined before.
I completely agree. It's like they're handing us a map to a whole new world, but it's up to us to explore it and see where it leads. And sometimes those uncharted territories lead to the most amazing discoveries.
Exactly. And speaking of amazing discoveries, there's one more point in this section of the lecture that I think ties everything together beautifully. Remember when Madre Maria was talking about the importance of purpose in dance?
You mean when she said something about a high purpose? That really piqued my curiosity.
Precisely. She said, when you have a strong purpose, or rather, when there is a high purpose, you can't put your ego in there. She's suggesting that when our dance is driven by something bigger than ourselves, something truly meaningful, it takes on a whole new level of potency. But what exactly is that right intention? It feels like a key part of this whole conversation.
I agree, and I'm not sure I fully grasp what she means by I purpose in this context. It's like she's pointing to something, but I can't quite make it out.
That's a great question, and honestly, I'm not sure I fully understand it either, but I think it's something that warrants further exploration.
Maybe it's the key to unlocking that deeper level of dance we've been talking about, the one that connects us to the universe and beyond.
Perhaps. But before we get too sidetracked, let's pause here and come back to this idea of purpose in part 3 of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back, and I have to say, my mind is still spinning a little bit from that last part about, connecting with other beings through dance. It's a lot to take in.
It is. It really is. But it all comes back to that idea that dance is a doorway to something so much bigger than us, right?
It does.
And as we've seen, Madre Maria, she really believes that those doors, they can open up to some wild possibilities.
Totally. And one of those, I don't know, one of the most intriguing ones that she brings up is this idea of a high purpose in dance.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when she said that thing? She was like, when there is a high purpose, you can't put your ego in there.
Right.
It's like she's saying that our ego can get in the way of, like, really experiencing the true power of dance.
Yes. And remember how we were a little, I don't know, we were kind of stuck on what exactly she meant by high purpose?
Yeah.
Well, as I was like going back through the lecture, something clicked for me that she said later on.
Okay, what is it? I'm ready.
She goes back to this idea of dance as a form of communication with other beings. And she says something about how maybe those beings, the ones on different frequencies, are drawn to the energy of a pure intention. It's like they can tell when our dance is truly in service of something greater than us.
So instead of dancing for ourselves or even for an audience,
Yeah.
we should dance for other beings.
I mean, yeah, in a way, I think it's more about, I don't know, aligning our dance with their energy, with that higher vibration.
It's like we become these instruments for something beyond ourselves to express itself.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
It is beautiful.
And when we do that, when we surrender our ego to that higher purpose, she believes it becomes so much more powerful, like exponentially more powerful.
It's like, I don't know, when you see a dancer and it's like they're not even trying, you know?
Yeah.
They're just like pure conduit.
Yeah. It's mesmerizing when that happens.
It is.
And it's not just about, you know, how it looks or the technique. Madre Maria suggests that when our dance has this purpose woven through it, it becomes a force for healing, for change,
For connection.
for connection to something really, truly divine.
That gives me chills. Seriously, it does. It's like she's saying that dance can be a form of prayer almost, like an offering, a way to participate in something sacred.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. She's asking us to see dance as way more than entertainment or even just self-expression.
It's deep.
It can be a powerful tool for connection to something so much bigger than ourselves.
And in turn, like transforming ourselves and everything around us.
Exactly.
This has been, I have to say, an absolute incredible deep dive. I feel like my whole understanding of dance, it's totally different.
Mine too. LAMDU, they just have this way of, you know, shaking things up,
Thank you, Joe.
helping us to see things in a new way.
And speaking of seeing things in a new way, I keep coming back to that image that Madre Maria left us with at the end of the lecture about the drums of the divine.
Oh, yeah, that was powerful. Just that image, you know, that they're filled with this force.
Yeah.
And even if we don't get it, we should move to the rhythm.
It's like she's asking us to surrender to the unknown. you
Yeah.
know, to trust in something we don't fully understand.
Let go of control. Just let go.
Well, let go and just be
Yes.
moved. To dance to the rhythm of the cosmos, even if we can't hear the music yet.
It is. It's kind of, it's exhilarating, but also a little terrifying, right?
It is. It's both of those things.
But, you know, I think as we've kind of seen in this deep dive, the most amazing things happen when we push ourselves out of our comfort zone
Out of those comfort zones.
and we embrace the unknown.
You know, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very inspired to get up and move,
Me too.
to find that rhythm, that connection, that high purpose. And who knows, maybe we'll unlock a few more doors along the way.
I'm with you. Until next time, keep dancing.
Dance.